The Bigster is a car of contrasts. The same feature can be both a strength and a frustration. Adaptive cruise control is one of those. This is what it actually feels like to live with it. This episode is about one thing: adaptive cruise control on the Bigster Hybrid 155, from personal and real experience. Most of the footage is from a recent trip between Italy and Romania, mostly national roads and cities. I've also added some older footage from motorway driving and bad weather conditions. For those unfamiliar, a quick explanation of what ACC or Adaptive Cruise Control actually is. Standard cruise control keeps a fixed speed. Adaptive cruise control does more. It reads the traffic ahead and adjusts your speed automatically to maintain a safe following distance. There are two main systems used for ACC. The first uses radars to detect obstacles. The radar tends to perform better in bad weather and does a more accurate job of calculating the speed and distance of vehicles ahead. The downside? It doesn't identify what it detects. A car, a person, an object on the roadside. It can't tell the difference, which is why parked cars on the side of the road are sometimes ignored. The second uses one or more cameras. This is usually the cheaper option, but it works more like a human eye. It identifies what's in front of you, reads brake lights, indicators, and road marking for more proactive driving. The trade-off, like human vision, it struggles in extreme weather. Shadows and reflections can be misread, sometimes triggering an emergency brake for no real reason. Some premium cars combine both systems for better overall performance. The Bigster uses the camera-based system only. How to activate it? There's a dedicated button to enable the system. The display confirms whether it's on or off. A second button activates it while driving. It appears in green on the dashboard when it's on. The most useful activation method is a dedicated button that reads the speed limit directly from the road signs and sets that as your target speed automatically. You press it, the car reads the sign and sets the speed. Done. I use this constantly. On paper, all of this sounds ideal. In practice, it's more nuanced. But let me walk you through what I found after using this system regularly in the last few months. First, comfort on medium and long trips. This is where the ACC genuinely earned its place. On a national road or motorway, your right foot does almost nothing. You drive mostly with your hands. The car manages speed and distance, and after several hours of driving, the difference in fatigue is noticeable. I first noticed this during the endurance test back in episode 9. That said, on twisty roads, keeping the pace with the car in front becomes really annoying. The ride is no longer smooth. Frequent hard braking and acceleration happen because the car keeps appearing and disappearing from the camera's field of view. For that scenario, I found two options. 1. Take full control and drive my own way. Or 2. Set a lower speed so that the system doesn't need to constantly brake and accelerate. The downside of option 2 is that it can cause queuing behind you, so it's only really suitable when the traffic is light or inexistent. There's one more thing worth mentioning. ACC can detect turns and slow down for them, but it doesn't perform miracles. If you're going fast and a sharp turn arrives, it won't slow you down. It handles small corrections, not emergencies. Auto hold simulation in traffic. In slow-moving or stop-and-go traffic, the ACC brings the car to a complete stop and holds it. You don't have to touch the brake, but it does it only if there is a vehicle in front of you. If the road ahead is clear, you need to stop it manually. When the traffic moves, it follows. So for city driving and busy roads, this is generally useful. There's also a useful trick when stopped at traffic lights with no car ahead. Press the set button once while fully stopped and it activates auto hold. You can now take your foot completely off the brake. Press it again or press the acceleration and the car starts moving again. On longer stops, ACC partially deactivates and puts the car into auto hold mode automatically. To resume, you again either press the reset button or press the acceleration. That reactivates everything. On bad weather, it works fine most of the times, but in heavy rain, snow or dense fog, the ACC can deactivate. Not always and not immediately, but for short periods it loses confidence in what it's seeing and switches off. In those conditions you need to be ready to take over at any moment. The most frustrating part is when it happens precisely when I'm in comfort mood and I just don't want to interact much with the car. It sometimes doesn't detect objects ahead. This one is harder to predict. Occasionally, the system simply doesn't register a vehicle or obstacle that's clearly there. One example, a car towing a very small trailer. The camera seems to interpret the trailer as being further away than it actually is. It doesn't happen often, and I haven't been able to capture it on camera yet. But if I do, I'll put together a short video on it. Sudden braking for no apparent reason. Every now and then, the car brakes sharply and there's nothing there. A shadow, a road marking, something that sensors misread. It's not necessarily dangerous if you're always paying attention, but it's definitely not something you want happening when there's a vehicle close behind you, which is why keeping a safe following distance is always worth it. The roads and the car systems are both unpredictable. It's not worth the risk staying too close behind the vehicle in front of you. It doesn't drive preventively. Well, not always. This is the one that bothers me the most. In a queue, ACC waits for the car directly in front to brake before it reacts. It doesn't look further ahead. It doesn't anticipate. And to be fair, it's not just the ACC. It's also the other drivers. When someone doesn't anticipate a slowdown, they brake late and close to the obstacle. The ACC then reacts to that. My driving style is preventive. When I see braking lights 2 or 3 cars ahead, or when I see that a roundabout or a turn will require slowdown, I ease off immediately. ACC doesn't, so I deactivate it until that moment passes. This preventive approach also helps significantly with fuel consumption and brake pad and disc wear. The gear change issue at motorway speeds. This one is very specific but worth explaining. If I'm at 130 km per hour and need to slow slightly, say to let someone overtake before I move to lane 2, ACC drops from 130 to 125. Activating the turn signal for that lane change triggers a gear change from 4th to 3rd. For just 5 km per hour recovering. Completely unnecessary, but when the speed needs to recover 10, 20 or more kilometers back up, the ACC doesn't trigger the downshift. It stays in the 4th and accelerates smoothly back to the target speed. I can't fully explain why, but I have a workaround. I lightly press the accelerator first, then activate the turn signal. That's enough to prevent the downshift and the car recovers speed smoothly. Works every time, but it's a manual intervention on a system that's supposed to be automatic. Traffic and city driving. In the city I mainly use the ACC for auto hold as explained earlier, but I also intervene in specific situations. For example, when a green light comes on, or in specific crossroad like the one you are following right now, I usually help with the acceleration. ACC's reaction can be too slow in that moment, and leaving it to handle it can cause the cars behind to catch the red. Being proactive keeps traffic flowing. In very slow moving or smooth traffic, I use it for comfort and to rest my leg. But when the traffic is moving with continuous start and stops and other drivers are more aggressive, I tend to take full control. ACC and lane assist. For the first 10,000 kilometers, I used the lane assist regularly. Then I stopped. Now I use it only occasionally. The main reason? It's too invasive. On roads with potholes, you can't avoid them without the system trying to correct your position. When overtaking, you can't get close to the left lane markers without it pushing back, unless you activate the turn signal. But you don't want to commit to the signal before you're sure you can overtake. Because the Bigster uses cameras only, no radar, The lane assist doesn't hold you smoothly in the center of the lane. Instead, it bumps you from side to side. At motorway speeds, that's not just annoying, it can be dangerous as well. There are genuine pros though. It helps maintain a smooth line through most motorway turns, and it can correct you if you drift towards the lane edge when tired or distracted. But the combination of these limitations means I switch it off as soon as I start the car by pressing the dedicated button twice. You can manually configure which driving assistance systems can be turned off with this button. ACC and road sign reading, a genuinely great combination. It removes one more thing to think about while driving, but there are two reasons you can't always rely on it. First, the road sign reading system sometimes deactivates on its own. No clear reason, it just stops reading. Hopefully that's something a future software update will address. Second, the system needs further improvement in how it interprets signs. The main issue doesn't automatically know when a speed limit zone has ended unless it reads a specific sign saying so. A practical example: you pass through a 50 km/h zone for 200 meters. There is no end of limit sign at the exit. The dashboard still shows 50 km/h even though you're back on a 90 km/h road. You have to manually update the speed, which defeats the purpose. Outside of these two issues, it works very well. And honestly, it's a feature I haven't seen on many cars that cost significantly more. That little extra comfort adds up on a long drive. The ACC or the active cruise control on the Bigster is a genuine comfort feature. I use it constantly and it reduces fatigue. At this point, I've used it enough that I can cover hundreds of kilometers without even touching the brake or acceleration. There are only a handful of situations where I actually need to use my leg. Stop signs, traffic lights, or when I want to bring the car to a complete stop with no vehicle ahead. For stronger deceleration without braking, I sometimes temporarily switch to B mode, which I activate with my right hand. That one deserves its own episode, so more on that later. The auto hold in traffic is a real benefit, but it's not a system you can set and forget. It has blind spots, literally and figuratively. Bad weather conditions, unexpected braking, lack of anticipation, the gear change quirk. These are all situations where I stay engaged and step in. My approach? I use it as a tool, not as a replacement for attention. Based on my experience, neither the systems nor the road conditions allows us to treat any car as fully self-driving. There may be cars that come close to it, but they come with their own pros, cons, and uncomfortable situations. For any of this to work reliably everywhere, many years of development and significant infrastructure improvements are still needed. I never fully hand over control. Always hands on the wheel and eyes on the road. Do you face any of these issues on the Bigster or on a different brand or model? Can you share any situations I haven't covered or haven't managed yet to capture? Drop it in the comments. Might be useful for anyone reading. Drive safe, and I'll see you in the next one.